I've dated some former porn performers, and they vary as wildly as anybody else.
Absolutely.
There is some absolutely stable, mature adults in
Yes.
that adult field, and there are some hot messes.
Okay, I'm not going to use that term, but
it really does.
Like the women that I've dated in the porn industry, and I've dated quite a few in the past, I've not had problems with any of them. I have more problems with people that I'm meeting in the regular world. When I'm hanging out with people in the porn industry and the communities, they know where they're at, what they want, where they're going, and where they've been. And it's laid on the table that way.
yeah.
So I've always had positive.
And we also have to, step back and ask ourselves, why aren't we having this conversation about CEOs or accountants, right?
Certainly.
Who also, have a big range. But since we are talking about porn stars, I will say, and because I work with them, I will touch on it and just say that I've worked with porn stars that feel like, on one side, that feel like what they're doing is spiritual, and maybe a client lost his wife and kids in a plane crash, and he's not ready to date, but he's ready to see her, and she sees him, she's nurturing, she's that kind of escort where she is slowly nurturing him, and eventually he goes out and dates, and a lot of the escorts that fancy themselves more educators, spiritual healers. A lot of them are very happy. Also the ones that feel like they have a lot of control to dictate who they choose, and the ones who feel they have good intuition and do have good intuition. Those tend to be happy campers. Then you got the other ones, you got some folks that are filled with rage that are escorts or porn stars, and it's usually, you hear the stories of, like say an escort being with a client, and upstairs is the wife that's pregnant, and that kind of thing where she slowly just starts to hate men, so
you have to include also the dominatrix, and that brings back the CEOs, who are paying, who's the one actually paying for these dungeons to stay open? It's probably not hot young 20-year-old girls.
Right.
It's probably businessmen with money that can afford to hire the dominatrix that's performing there, or to hire the submissive that's performing there. And so there's a lot of normal mainstream businessmen that are paying for this lifestyle to continue.
Right. And if you do think about, all the different sex workers that are out there, all the different porn stars, and the huge portion of the American public that is watching them or hiring them every day, it's about time that we know them more, beyond just a two-dimensional model. It's about time that we start talking to them before we start to pass legislation instead of dictating what should be, pushed upon them. They have opinions, they have lives, they have feelings, and so oftentimes the American public just chooses things for them, and it's ridiculous.